What is going on, guys? Sonic and the Bean Show here. Today we're looking at the brand new 2.5-inch Luigi and Koopa Paratroopa figures from Wave 43 by Jakks Specific. So we have a newly sculpted Luigi figure, and I believe for the first time in the line a green Koopa Paratroopa. I definitely remember the red one back in Wave either 16 or 17, but I can't recall if they did the green one with wings. They did the same thing with the 4-inch line where they started doing the red Paratroopa first and then they did the green one eventually, which I thought was kind of odd, but then again they did the blue Toad before the red Toad, so there's that. Anyway, let's take a look at the packaging, starting with Luigi. So here is how Luigi looks in the packaging. You got some angles right there with the figure, the bottom, and then here is the back render shot of the figure, bio read to the side, and this is all the other figures that's in this wave. And then here is Koopa Paratroopa, and then the back render shot of the figure, bio read, and then the same thing. So that is pretty much them in their packaging. So without further ado, let's go ahead and crack these out of the box and take a closer look. Okay, so here are the figures out of the box right here. So I'm actually going to start off with Luigi. So let me just move the Paratrooper out the way. And I'm actually going to just do the comparison right away so you guys can see what you're getting into. I feel like this figure is probably the best to compare it with. But look, I can't even get this guy to stand. Can't even, there you go. Alright, so you guys can see it looks like the torso, the arms, and then the legs are definitely new. The head sculpt, it might be different, I don't know, because it looks like they got the same expression, but you can definitely see the difference here with the arms, the legs, and then the torso. I do like it. The hips look weird though, but I do appreciate the added leg articulation, especially since this one can stand pretty well. This one I always had a hard time trying to stand because he was kind of like looking up for whatever reason, and I think it's just because his like feet were really closed in. But there's definitely some differences here. So the head sculpt, like I said, the expression, they look about the same, but you can see, like, for example, this Luigi, the hair, it's like a lighter brown than this one is. It looks like the paint on this figure is more lighter in some spots, like the overalls, the green, but I think everything else, like the eyes and then the mustache, look about the same. Bottom of the shoes, yeah, it just looks like the overalls, you know, the blue on the overalls, the yellow on the buttons, the green, and then the hair color is what I'm seeing. However, that's not even it. They actually added, well, the details look a lot better on this figure, but I like what they did here with the gloves. So look at the details here on this glove and then compared to this figure right here. So you can actually see, you know, like around the knuckle part right here, it looks a whole lot cleaner. Even like on, well, it's a little hard to see that because how white the figure is, but right here you can see that right here, but there is some details going on where he's clenching his fist compared to how this one is. So there's definitely like some small things you see there, but I think everything else, like to the overalls, look about the same. The buttons are actually a whole lot cleaner here too. Look at the buttons on here compared to this one, and then the back, everything looks really close, but the pattern with this one is different than how this figure is. And yeah, pretty much that. But I am liking this new Luigi figure so far. I am really liking this a whole lot here in the top of the head, if you want to see that. So yeah, the hips look odd on the figure, but I do appreciate the tooling they did here for this Luigi figure. So for the articulation, so it is really just on a ball peg, but you're really just going to get a full rotation out of that. For the shoulders, a full rotation as well. There is a hinge to that shoulder, which I actually wasn't expecting. That's a huge change there right there, but it goes up about here, which is nice. There is no elbow joints, of course, but there is a swivel to the wrist right there. And then for the hips, out to the side, you get that, just about that much range. Kicking forward, it looks like it just wants to go, it's kind of weird because I want to kick it a little bit forward, but it wants to go out to the side. Yeah, it looks like it wants to just kick out to the side rather than it kicking like just straight. But this is as much as you're getting for Luigi to kick forward. and then back just about there. And then of course like nothing with the knees, and the feet don't turn either because they're actually sculpted onto the pants cuff right there. And that is pretty much the articulation for the Luigi. So yeah, the legs, they're really just on a ball peg, really. So you just get movement out of there. But the articulation you've seen, it may not seem as much, but compared to like what they did with this Luigi, all you could really do was just a head turn and then just move the arms and like swivel the wrist. But you couldn't really do anything with the legs at all. And then he was like looking up, to where like every time I want to stand him, he would want to fall back a couple of times. So yeah, it's pretty much that. So now you're more familiar with how this is, because I'm pretty sure the new Mario in the next wave is going to be the same as this. So now you're more familiar with how the articulation is, how it's going to look on the Mario Brothers. But overall, I personally like it. I mean, I'm glad the guy can actually stand now. He's not like just a statue or whatever. I like that that I can actually pose this guy, like I like that. And again, love that he can actually stand pretty well. For the height though, they look about the same. This one may look taller just because Luigi's like slightly looking up, but they're relatively really close. I'll use somebody else. Here's like, we'll use Daisy. So here's Daisy and Luigi. If you want to see how these figures look next to each other. And then I am going to compare Luigi with like the rest of the figures in a bit. Now for the green Paratroopa, there's not a whole lot here to talk about, because if you're familiar with how just the regular Koopa Troopa is, or even if you have just the red Paratroopa, you can see it's literally the same thing, except it's just the green one with the wings this time. I'll just bring in just the green one right here. The difference I'm mainly seeing here for the most part is just like the eyes. So there are green around the eyes. This one was just painted fully black, but the green, I think it looks a little bit darker too. That's what it's looking like. That it looks like the green here is darker. This one's a little bit lighter. And then the bottom of the shoes are different now. This one was white, this one was like yellow now, which I think this is actually more accurate. Wasn't sure why it was white in the first place, but yeah, you get the idea of that. And they still got the lines around the shell, as you can see, and then of course no holes, because this is just a regular Koopa Troopa. Now the red Paratroopa, here's a comparison right here. This one still had the green eyes around, so you have that, but it's the same thing, but it's just red this time, as you can see, same way. So yeah, it very similar to those figures, which I would like to see a new pose, but it's whatever. Articulation is also the same if you're really familiar with. Oops, I just popped the wing off right there. But articulation is very, very similar to the other ones. You barely move at the head really. This arm can barely move, but this arm can move a lot better. And I don't think there's really nothing going on with like the legs or anything like that. And then of course the wings were just on a ball peg, so you can move them around. This one's really loose though. Like I can move this pretty well, but then this one, look, it's it's already like falling out. So that's unfortunate right there. I'm not sure what's going on, but you get the idea of what you're getting here. It's just another one of this, but it's green of course. So that's pretty much that. Okay, so for another comparison, here is the new Luigi figure with the other characters that got a new redesign, except for Mario of course, which is kind of funny how Mario is going to be the last one here compared to everyone else. But you can see that Luigi still fits perfectly with everyone else, and I'm definitely going to come back to doing this comparison when I review the new Mario figure. But yeah, this is pretty cool right here to see. I do wonder if they're going to do like other old figures, of like a redesign maybe, but I don't know, we'll have to see when we get there. But overall this is actually pretty cool to see. Alright, so that is going to wrap up this review on the 2.5-inch Luigi and Koopa Paratroopa figures from Wave 43 by Jakks Specific. So the Luigi figure is definitely a nice upgrade compared to the other one. I do actually like this one a whole lot. The Paratroopa is just a repaint of course, but it is cool if you need a green Paratroopa in this scale with the other figures. So if you guys want to pick these up, they are currently hitting Target. They are hitting Walmart too, but they come in the windowless packaging, which I'm not a fan of. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the review. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments down below, and I will definitely catch you guys in the next video. Take care, my friends.